Welcome to the Hollywood Raw podcast. I'm Dax Holt. Over there's Adam Glyn. He has been out running around all day, doing his thing in the streets of New York. And now I finally got to track him down so we could get to the Raw rundown, get you guys informed for the going into the weekend, get you caught up on all the latest Hollywood news, gossip, headlines, insider stories, all the stuff we do here on Hollywood Raw. How are you, dude?
I'm good. I got two people today. Well, I got more than that. Today was a crazy day. Want to hear it real quick? We don't have to play the interviews and stuff, but I got one person who's always solid for me. Great sound bites, always get good conversation, long conversation. But I really enjoy the conversation. I think he does too. I got Dave Portnoy from Barstool.
Okay.
I've got him a bunch of times. Now I know he's not Brad Pitt or Tobey Maguire. By any means, but is a very notable guy, very successful guy.
A lot of people waiting around for Tobey Maguire interviews, or what?
Maybe Tobey Maguire autographs. Yes, there's a lot of people waiting around for Tobey Maguire autographs. However, Dave Portnoy for me, he does very well, and he's also interesting, unique, and I like people like that. I don't like to go for those people that kind of walk very quick and give me like not the best answers, I don't know, like a John Legend, for example. You get like two questions in and you're lucky if you hook them. It's like too much work for not a lot. Whereas Dave Portnoy is just a very interesting, polarizing, some people would say, guy. So I got to talk to him. You know who I got today, who is someone who I wanted to kind of get for a long time. And she was very, very sweet, very, very pretty in person. But also we got to talk off camera and very, very nice. I got Megyn Kelly.
Oh. You said you wanted to get Megyn Kelly after you saw her at the Time 100. You actually were able to get her?
Yeah, I got her. She's very nice. We had a good conversation on and off camera.
Did she talk Blake Lively with you?
She did say that. We didn't go too hard in detail because it wasn't like a long conversation because she was in a rush to go somewhere else. But I asked her if it was like hoping if it would be awkward for her to run into Megyn. She said she didn't care. She's basically
Megyn, you mean Blake?
To Blake. She said it'd be more awkward for Blake to run into her. Like she's like, I just do my thing. But she was very cool, very nice. Got her.
Did you ask her if she smelled the stink bombs at the Time 100?
Let's get into but I want to say one more other person. We will talk about the stink bombs at the Time 100. But I got Hulk Hogan, which I got to like talk to Hulk for like 15, 20 minutes, which it might sound stupid, but to me, Hulk Hogan is still Hulk Hogan. Like I know you're gonna make fun of me, my wrestling thing, but when I was a kid, I don't know about you, but Hulk Hogan was as big as a Michael Jordan or some way. Like he was huge. He was the Rock.
I'm not denying he wasn't a massive celebrity. He still is a massive celebrity, but I mean, I feel like he's kind of jumped the shark a little bit, you know?
He's a very interesting guy, but he was the Rock before the Rock. And yes, I can understand where you're coming from, where he jumped the shark a little bit. Where, when you say the word jump the shark, he almost had his time. Like no one really cares as much.
Well, however, just got kind of cheesy or whatever. Like, that's, I feel like the meaning of jumping shark, where it goes from like cool to kind of cheesy or silly or goofy at this point.
Yeah. So I got to like hang out with him for a little bit and super nice, very cool. I didn't bring up anything that's going on with him because I knew that I wasn't like.
So you didn't ask about Brooke? You didn't ask about the drama?
It's not my place. It's not my place. And I'm trying to develop a relationship with him rather than kill a relationship with him.
Yeah.
But he was very nice, very cool. I think I'll be able to hook up with him again. But let's talk about
that's my headline. Adam hooks up with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, what's so funny? So I knew there was a chance I was going to actually possibly get him today.
Yeah.
And I was going to wear a Hulk Hogan t-shirt, but I'm glad I didn't because I know it just got weird.
That would have been a little awkward, right?
Yeah, that would have been too much. Let's talk about this stink bomb game.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. So you see Megyn Kelly out on the street. This is after the Time 100 whole gala or whatever the hell they did, a red carpet. That's where the stink bombs were dropped because of Blake Lively going in. Did you ask Megyn Kelly? Did you smell the stink bombs? Did she get any whiff of them? Anything?
She actually went in the entrance that the stink bombs were thrown down at.
Okay.
But I don't think they were because it was outside where the fans were, the smell only lasts for maybe 3.5 minutes. So she didn't come in when the smell was kind of
Gotcha.
going,
So
if
she
that makes
missed
sense.
it. Yeah,
She missed
and
the
if you
stink
guys
bomb
want to
smell.
hear the whole story, Adam talks about it. I'm not going to rehash the whole thing for our listeners that have already heard this story. But if you want to hear the stink bomb story, go back and listen to Wednesday's episode. How I do want to give a shout out to Lauren from Court of Random Opinion.
Yeah,
She
very cool.
covered our topic about the stink bombs, and a bunch of her subscribers came, checked out our video. So shout out to her. But Adam, she did ask. She wants to know, how do you know that they were Baldoni fans that were actually dropping the stink bombs? Because she was just like, hey, that, I can understand stink bombs being dropped, but like, how did you know that they were Baldoni fans?
So when you're waiting in where there's the photographers, there is a
Okay.
press side on one side, and then the other side there was some photographers, but also it's just where the fans sort of wanted to get glimpses or photos of some of the celebrities going in. Adrian Brody stopped by to the fans. Actually, I think Adrian Brody is one of the only people to stop and like come over to the fans and take photos with people. But there was loose conversation about these people being very pro Baldoni. Do I know if these people went there with the intention like we're gonna go stink bomb to protest Blake Lively? I don't know, but there is
But there was
definitely
conversation going on about Baldoni, which is
yeah,
a random thing to be talking about outside the Time 100, unless you were
correct.
there for a reason.
Correct. There wasn't like they're all wearing Baldoni T-shirts with his face on it and signs saying "Screw Blake," but there's definitely people there, and they I wouldn't say knew each other, but they kind of came together as they're waiting there in conversation, saying, I don't know how the relationship was with most of those people, but
Mhm.
they were very pro Baldoni over Blake, and their question like Blake should, and they even said outside like I don't understand how Blake
Can,
is
can
on
you
this list.
can you get in trouble for like a stink bomb, or is that something like no one, who the hell is going to get in trouble? I don't
I
even know what the
don't
rules are in New York.
Yeah, I don't know what the legality is of it. I'm assuming if you did it in a place where people start to riot or like it becomes like
A bigger
uh,
issue.
a bigger issue of people trying to storm out of a door
Yeah,
and they could get hurt, then it's like okay. So I think it's a very touchy, wishy-washy feel. Uh,
interesting. Well,
it's like
anyway,
it's. I think cops would maybe arrest you, but then they
for a
bring you in the like
stink
what
bomb.
causing chaos, whatever that.
Mm.
But I
Wow.
think they'd bring you in, they'd arrest you, bring you to, and then be like, "What are we gonna do? Just let him go." So,
Well, the
but
most
I don't.
people are just going to be like, "Oh, it's stinky." I don't see anyone. I mean, it's New York. I think New York is stinky enough
Yeah,
on its own that people are probably just like, it's trash day in New York where everyone throws all their trash on the sidewalk anyway. I've been out there. I've
yeah.
seen how
I
it
mean,
goes down.
I don't know how you say was that stink bomb? Did someone smell? Does someone smell, or did someone pass gas? I don't know how you. Just, I don't know if they're gonna go around smelling tushies to see who laid the egg, but I don't know what they're
Whatever.
gonna do. All right,
Anyway,
this
shout out to Lauren. Thank you again for asking the question and covering us on your YouTube channel. So go check her out. Court of Random Opinion is her YouTube channel. All right.
Very cool. Thank you. All right. Today is our Raw Rundown where we give you the top 10 stories of the week. How do we pick the top 10 stories? It goes by Google search, it goes by data. Lastly, it goes by our personal opinion. But ultimately, it comes down to the data, what people are clicking on. Every single major news outlet has a screen where they're able to see how stories are doing. And this, depending on how the story is doing, they kind of question those stories and try to lean more into those stories to what people are interested
Can
and
I give
curious
a
about.
perfect example of that from this week? If anyone
Yes.
logged on to TMZ this week, you would have seen all the John Elway stories. And it literally started as one Elway story, and clearly they started to get traction on it because you'll notice there was 15 Elway stories by, you know, 2 o'clock the next day. So that is a perfect example of you can see what people are interested in based on the number of stories that are going up about a certain celeb when you're like, wow, I didn't realize John Elway was such a big attraction, but all of a sudden there's a death in his life. And now 17 stories later, I can tell you that must have gotten a lot of clicks.
Yeah. So
And funny enough, John Elway didn't even make our rundown, more because it was more sports related than entertainment, I would say.
but it could lean into it more if we really wanted to, because I saw that Jessica Finn from The Sun, our colleague, our friend, I guess, did a story that of when he fell, we saw the story that John Elway's longtime friend and agent they were on a golf cart leaving Stagecoach. The agent fell off the golf cart and unfortunately, I guess, had a really nasty fall that he lost his life from it. But the person that tried to save him and tried to kind of, while John was calling 911, Johnny Bananas was the guy who was trying to kind of save
Johnny Banana, like
Johnny Ban-
MTV Johnny Bananas, like the guy that
yeah,
we've
Johnny,
had on our podcast was
the
there.
the John. So he was with them because he's friends with John Elway's son. So they've known each other for years, and he was on the golf cart there. He was trying to resuscitate and just try to, I guess, based on what the story says, I guess, help out the
Wow.
guy. But unfortunately, it's a terrible, terrible story. You could read into it. It's honestly like,
What a crazy connection that Johnny Bananas is wrapped into this whole thing. Holy moly.
yeah. I mean, again, he was just the wrong place, wrong time, wrong. It's the whole thing is a really
Yeah.
sad incident.
It's
But
sad. This is like John's best friend. This is a guy that they've been friends for years and years and years. Not only that, they're business partners with each other. I mean, like it's really sad that he's going to have to bury his like best friend.
yeah. All right. Well, that story is not on.
That's not even our top 10.
That is not. That story is not, as we talk about. It's not in our top 10 because we try to stick to more celebrity pop culture
Pop culture.
stuff.
Because he's a celebrity. It's just more, we'll go entertainment stuff.
Yeah, it's a different feel. Anyway, before we get to that, let's read a review. Dax, read me one, sir.
Oh, I got one for you. All right. This one, let me actually click the button here. Taking me a little bit. It says, this is from JR Sunset. It says, great pod, 5 stars. It says, so funny, amazing back and forth. Love you guys. Well, thank you, JR. Quick,
Thank you,
easy,
JR.
to the point, exactly what we asked for, exactly what we love, and helping us jump up that algorithm. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Keep them coming, guys. All right, let's get to the Raw Rundown, starting with number 10.
Number 10, a lot of talk around Rachel Zegler this week. Obviously, the big story over the last couple weeks has just been what a phenomenal bomb the new Snow White movie has been. A lot goes into a lot of her comments throughout the whole production, her kind of almost making fun of the original, saying that it was weird, talking about how she didn't like how Prince Charming seemed like a stalker, like all this kind of stuff. And then she had some pro-Palestinian comments, and that obviously she's doing a movie with Gal Gadot, who is Israeli. So like there was just so much being brought up about this movie, and then they kind of tried to, like, I feel like, hide the premiere for it. They did it in what was it, like Italy, or I forget where the hell they did it. They did it overseas and blocked out all the media from going to it. So it's just kind of been a flop all around. Well, she is now signed up to do her next movie, and so people are now looking into this. Oh, so you're going to try to continue out your career. I'm like, of course she's going to continue her career. Not for a second did I think that she wasn't going to she wasn't just going to disappear into obscurity. Of course she's going to have a new movie come out, but the new movie is it's going to be actually with Marissa Tomei, who is a huge star, and
yeah,
you don't
solid.
think Marissa Tomei is still a huge star?
I mean, it's been some years.
Yeah, I get it,
star.
but she was in My Cousin Vinny. She became a
Academy
huge
Award.
star off of it. And so she's going to be doing this new movie with her called She Gets It From Me. And so I guess Ziegler is going to play the daughter of Marissa Tomei, and I guess she's going to be a wild, and this is quote, wild, unruly, and free-spirited character, according to the synopsis. And so I guess the daughter goes looking for the mom, who's like an ex-punk rocker birth mom, and they enjoy this crazy time together, something like that. I don't know. Could be interesting. Could be totally boring. I don't know.
I have a few questions regarding it that you can't answer. A, what's the budget of the movie? I wonder if this is a big budget movie, or if this is some people that maybe knew Marissa and said, hey, what other names can we get? And this is her just trying to work, because I don't think she wants to go a long time without working, because that wouldn't look good on her resume. The only way to bounce back is just keep working. And
yeah.
But it's funny. I listened to an interview this is something to do, but nothing to do with it. Ben Affleck was on Theo Vaughn's podcast. Isn't that
Okay.
crazy, Dex? Ben Affleck on Theo Vaughn's podcast,
Theo Vaughn has gotten
and
so big that like if you
Mark
turn him
Zuckerberg
down,
was just on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it almost doesn't make sense to turn him down because his platform is bigger than any TV shows at this point, any
Hmm.
magazines that you're gonna do. He is the big podcast.
Huge. So Theo had Ben Affleck on. Ben Affleck starts talking about paparazzi. And he was like, they always get me in my worst times. But he also talked about that he always just wants to be seen as, that stuff sort of ruins his like role as an actor because for him, he needs to seem as like we've always said, especially with like Lindsay Lohan, that
Hmm.
these people need to really stay under the radar as much as possible. So when they do roles, people see them as the character, not
Yeah.
as the celebrity. And Ben's like, I try to do my best doing that. And there is a line because obviously you get stuff by being famous, but yet again, you want to go too famous where you don't get the role because you're just too famous for the role. So I think personally that Rachel, because of what she did,
It makes her
essentially.
bigger than the roles, which is not ideal for an actress trying to get new gigs.
Yeah, so yes, and I agree with that. And I think she took this role because she doesn't want to go too long without a job. Ultimately, that's
Yeah,
what I'm thinking.
that's
Just my personal opinion.
no, I don't think you're wrong. I mean, she needs to
Yeah,
get back out there, work so that you can now forget about that debacle and start focusing on the next movie. And Gal Gadot has had some pretty big flops in her time too, and she keeps getting work. So it's not like it's not going to
true.
ruin your career, but you do then
Yeah, but
have
Gal
to.
Gadot never really spoke. Well, I guess she did. I mean, we kind of know that Gal Gadot is going to be pro-Israel,
Yeah.
um, but I don't think she's been outspoken really about Palestine. And I could be
I
wrong. I
feel
mean, I
like
don't want to
there's
get too into
something
it, but
different when you're from a place, like people expect it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's like I expect Bella and Gigi to like be pro-Palestinian because aren't they like heritage is from there? I don't know.
yeah.
I just feel like there's some people where you expect it, and it's the people that have no connection and start speaking up. You're like, what is your connection to all of this? That's when I think it gets a little funky for people.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but it is a free world, and you're allowed to speak up.
speak it up. Speak it
Just
up.
don't be the consequences could be a little tough,
I was like, just don't be
So
mad when you don't get your next movie because speaking up may have bit you in the ass.
yeah, you don't go to your. I don't think Dax walks into Trophy Smack and goes, "Hey guys," stands on a desk and starts giving his opinions on what's going on in the world today. All right.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah,
You
every day.
stand there like Christopher Columbus. It's like 9 a.m.
More
over
like
there.
Captain Morgan with my leg up on one item.
Yeah. Number 9.
Number 9, Katy Perry. She is just getting ripped apart all over social media for a lot of the footage that's been coming out from her concerts down in Mexico. She's been touring all around Mexico. She was in Mexico City and Monterrey, and these videos are coming out of her stage performance, and people are like, what the hell is she doing or actually not doing? She is, her dance moves have seemed pretty like blah. She's spending a lot of time in the air, flying around the arena or trying to do acrobatics, but it all just feels very flat to a lot of the concert goers that they're just kind of making fun of her. Maybe you've seen the video that's been going around online of her dancing, singing to a ginormous poo. And when I say poo, I literally mean poop. She's got a part that's, and the funny thing is, I don't know why this is getting so much attention because the big giant poop has been a part of her stage performance. Even when she was in Vegas, it's like this toilet comes out and the seat is up, and then a poo comes up, and she kind of like twerks, and it's dancing, and it's been a part of it. But I think people are now playing into the fact that they feel like it just feels very lazy. The whole stage performance feels lazy. That now they're even pointing out that the poo seems kind of funny. Did you see any of the videos, Adam?
I did. I mean, I want to like trash it, but then at this point, Katy Perry's been doing this for so long. It's just her personality, and I
Mhm.
kind of respect it because
That
it's not
I
mine,
feel
but I
like
respect.
this is who she is. She's like the
Yeah,
kooky, like have fun, be crazy kind of girl. And everyone's comparing her to Taylor Swift because obviously they had their fights for a long time. And I'm like, but she's not Taylor Swift. Like, she's riding around on like dragons and there's big flowers, and she just has a different stage performance than Taylor. So I don't feel like you can compare the two. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but that they're just different performances in that regard.
Totally agree. It's just her personality. They're like you said, two different types of performers. She's fun. I'll tell you when she didn't look fun. And I think it was Joe Rogan who said it. When she was doing the Blue Origin, when she was like walking onto it,
Mm-hmm.
she looked like she was like in the zone.
Yeah.
And
Well, because she's probably scared shitless that she's about to
oh
fly in his cage. She's like, please don't let this thing blow up halfway through the trip.
yeah, I think she walked in there like I'm ready, and not Joe Rogan said it's like she walked in there like I'm ready to die, like and sacrifice my body
I
for
don't think she was
science.
ready to die.
Yeah, like I'm ready to sacrifice my body for science and space travel. So, but again, like you said, I'm not mad at this. It's her personality. Some people find it funny. To me, it's not my cup of tea, but that's okay. Like I
So,
honestly respect her for just being
but the
her.
other problem is, I think people are so used to seeing like these performers and their amazing dance moves, right? Like you
Yeah,
watch Beyonce, she's a phenomenal dancer. You watch, well, I was going to say Taylor. Taylor's not much of the dancer, I would say. She's a great singer. She sticks away from the dancing as much, but or Gaga, and then Katy is more like a robot and doing weird crap and bringing out lightsabers and fighting, I don't know, an air vent or whatever the hell she was doing on stage. It is what it is. You just chalk it up to that's the performer. I
yeah.
don't know.
But actually, where was Katie more scared? Going onto the Blue Origin or riding on a surfboard with Orlando Bloom naked behind her?
She's like, which lightsaber is going to take me out?
Remember how embarrassed she was? Like she looked so weird, like uncomfortable when
She
he
did
was just
look
naked.
uncomfortable. Well,
Uh
and I feel like those are a set of photos that I just think back and I cringe for them. I'm like, there was no moment where she was like, hey, Orlando, like, I'm not feeling this. So, like, put your underwear back on because you're about to poke me in the back of the head with your wiener. Like, not like it's just the whole thing was so weird that if she's not
yeah.
naked, why are you naked, bro?
How many people are Googling right now Orlando Bloom naked? If
Oh,
you can find that
everyone.
photo,
I
it's a great
mean,
photo.
everyone
But
should look at the photos. They're freaking hilarious and amazing in all regards. But
you
just out paddleboarding, dong out. It's so funny.
so good. All right, number 8.
Gwyneth Paltrow, actually pretty furious over. Do you remember that court lawsuit that she went to in Colorado where there was a skiing accident and the guy had basically blamed her for all these injuries that he
Yeah.
had? Well, she hasn't really talked about it since then. She did win that lawsuit, but she sat down with Sarah Foster and Aaron Foster on their podcast. It's called The World's First Podcast, and she talked about it and she just blasted the trial talking about how ridiculous it was. She explained she didn't want to like really save herself the hassle of going through a court battle because she was like, no, like this is so dumb. This is a total shakedown and I'm not going to let it happen because for her to hire lawyers, to travel back to Colorado, to do the whole thing is a massive pain in the ass when she could have easily just been like, pay the guy $300,000 and just make this whole thing go away. Just be done with it because I'm probably going to end up paying more than $300,000 in lawyers and expenses and all the stuff, the damage to my reputation. She could have easily thrown the money at it and she decided not to. And so she ended up sitting and I said Colorado. I meant Utah. Sorry, different state, still great skiing. And so she went, and it was a whole court battle where it was everyone watched what she was wearing every day to court. But this was kind of the first time that I could see her being upset about it. And she says it was ridiculous. This was her coach. Her quote. She said, "It was ridiculous. I have to say that the idea someone could ski into your back, knock you down, and then sue you. It was like everything that's wrong with our legal system. That's why I felt like I had to fight it." He initially sued her for $3.1 million. He then reduced it to $300,000. And then he ended up losing the lawsuit. he blamed a lot of it on her star power, that the jurors were enticed by how big of a star she was. But she said, no, it was 100% his fault. He blamed it on me for some reason and then tried to get away with it. I was happy for her when she fought this.
Yeah, I respect her for fighting it. Obviously she's one of the biggest stars. You'd say she's an A-list star still.
Oh yeah, still.
Yeah. So for an A-list star to fight it and talk about it, I think it was just like spoke a lot. I think her not hiding about it and just like not paying him off, like that happens a lot. I mean, I think that really just her doing that alone spoke of her, and I think we kind of didn't even really get into that story too
Well, we
much. I don't
did
think
when
the
it
media.
first.
No,
When
no,
that,
we
oh, what were we gonna say?
no. What I was going to say, we did, but I don't
Oh.
think the media gave it as enough gas as that should have had, because I believe, and I'm thinking off the top of my head, that happened maybe a little before the Johnny Depp situation, so we were so focused on that. But I was like, hey, this is pretty wild that Gwyneth Paltrow's fighting this case, and
Mhm.
she won. And I don't think it was, honestly, I don't think it was just her being a celebrity. I don't think it was a legal thing. It was like her. Like, this is someone who's trying to take advantage of someone who was a celebrity.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just my personal
I
opinion
think
for me. I was
people
looking at.
see payday, anything involving a celeb, they're like, ooh, payday. They've got money. I want some of it. And I think this guy got greedy and it bit him in the ass because he then had to spend a ton of money on all the lawyers' fees. Because remember, she did like the symbolic $1 is how much, she was asking for.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to pay her out a big chunk of money, but there was a lot of lawyers' fees, and I think he regrets ever going down that road. Even though he still claims that he did nothing wrong, I think that it's still frustrating to lose all that money.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah. Number 7.
Michael Bolton says he has now a heightened sense of appreciation for life after his brain cancer treatment. If you remember, he was dealing with brain cancer. He had a scan that had revealed basically his cancer had started up in his brain, and he was diagnosed with that back in 2023. He had to immediately go in for emergency surgery where they removed whatever was growing in there. And now he says, looking back, and I guess he's been cleared. He is cancer free. He still has to go in for scans every 2 months to make sure nothing has come back. But he just said, I find a lot of comfort and knowing that I have this like sense of appreciation for life that I don't know if he didn't have before, or he just has a greater sense now that he's gone through something that almost took him out. Because I think when you have such a close brush with death, or that realization, I might not be around to see whatever life moments your family members are going to have. Like, I think that when you live through that, you go, oh shit, my life really is good, and I need to take it slower. I need to appreciate things more. That you don't always think about until you have those moments.
Yeah, Michael Bolton.
Have you ever had one
Talented
of those
guy.
moments? Have you ever had a close death moment that you then look at life and go, oh, I'm lucky I'm here?
I remember during my bris that when I saw that.
You're, so, you're such an idiot.
So, dude, if I remember that, that would have been the closest thing that ever happened. I think that would be when I see something like that coming towards it.
That was probably the first day you got wine too, huh?
Yeah,
You
it was
know,
the first day.
it's totally normal. People don't realize that, but in the Jewish religion, when you get your bris, normally they dip like the gauze in wine and give it to the
Yeah,
baby so that it takes their mind off what's happening. And I mean, kids then don't end up really feeling it, but it's like your first time you get drunk as a baby, 8 days old.
yeah. That's where it started. That's where all my downhill came from, when the rabbi gave me bris at 8 days old, and that's when I had to go recovery at 12 days old, and
For your drinking habits.
yeah, yeah. All right, number 6.
All right, Brittany Cartwright going after Jax Taylor, and she kind of said a pretty like rude thing. So she goes on
I agree.
Watch What
By the way,
Happens.
before
What?
I totally agree with you. I thought this was not cool.
This was
We're
not
gonna,
cool.
you're
So
gonna get this. I don't think it was nice. I don't think it was. This was dumb, in my opinion.
so Brittany goes on Watch What Happens Live, obviously with Andy Cohen, and one of the questions, because Andy always asks crazy questions. One of the questions was to rate Jax in the bedroom from on a scale of 1 to 10, and she gave him a pretty low blow. She ended up saying he is a 2 or a 3, but then she kind of like went into it and said, "Oh Lord, sometimes he was about a 7 or 8, but majority of the time, no stamina, no nothing." And then concluded with, "I'd say a 2 or a 3." And I just felt like, damn, what a low blow to do this to this guy. I get that you guys have issues. I get that he's caused you a lot of drama, the drug addiction that he's gone through. I am not saying that it was ever easy to deal with Jackson. I can't imagine that it was. I just felt like, way to kick the guy when he's down. You already am like going through a divorce with him. There's already all this shit. And then you like kick him in the balls by saying that.
Yeah, I thought it was a low move. It was unnecessary. I understand Andy with the question. I'm not mad at the question. I'm more mad on how she handled it. And she could have just said, sometimes it was great, sometimes it was very quick. Like I mean
Or,
that's
I also feel like the super low score, like that to me, I feel like is messed up. Like she could have said, and you could have even given him a shot and said, "Oh, he had some tens in there, but sometimes not. So all the drinking sometimes will lead to a 5. Like I feel like there's ways that you could do it, but to say he's consistently a 2 or 3, I just feel like there's nothing I think more hurtful than telling someone they really suck in bed. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Might as well add it. He's got a small dinky donk onto it, because that would have even been just a lower blow.
Remind me next time me and you get into an argument, I'm just tell you you suck in bed. I know that it hurts you the most.
I know it really hurts.
hurts hurts in all different ways. All right, what number are we on? Number 5? Number 5.
We are on number 5. So number 5 is JoJo Siwa getting cussed out by her ex. And this is all coming after the Celebrity Big Brother UK rap party. If you remember, there was a lot of talk about her being on the Celebrity Big Brother, and she had this. There was some flirting going on with Chris Hughes, who was also on the show. There was some PDA, not like kissing or anything, but I think just them being close and cuddly. And so a lot of people, started to question, wait, are you actually a lesbian or are you not? And she had even said, like, maybe I'm not a lesbian, maybe I'm actually queer. And so she started to question it. Well, now her ex, Kath Ebbs, who they recently broke up, was kind of really pissed off about it. Kath Ebbs goes onto TikTok and starts saying, and Kath goes by they, them. So I'm sorry, I will do my best to be responsible about using the correct pronouns, but it is sometimes difficult when you are trying to talk. So I'm going to do my best to be proper here. But Kath basically went on and said, I'm filming this in complete state of shock. They told their followers that, and then deleted the video, by the way, that basically it has come to my attention in the past 8 hours that everything we sort of saw unfold on what I thought was a fake reality show, where I did not need to worry about the validity of my relationship, was in fact laced in a lot of truth. They added that they felt betrayed by their ex, and then just railed on JoJo. So I don't know. I have a hard time caring about JoJo Siwa, in all
I
honesty.
agree.
But she gets a lot of attention, and people are fascinated with her life and her relationship, and her being on Big Brother. I garnered a lot of attention. I haven't seen JoJo covered this much in a long time. And then her breaking up was also huge coverage. And then JoJo went on the Vial Files and basically talked about the split, and said that Chris was not really the factor that caused the split, but there was a lot of other reasons, and around like boundaries of their relationship and other issues that was really at the cause of that breakup.
I think the interest around JoJo and this is gonna sound very, I think she's very cringe.
Yeah.
And I think she would even say that. I think we're just attracted to the cringe. We love watching the cringe. It's just like, this is so bad, but I'm going to continue to watch it. Just like we talked about in a few episodes ago, where there's some celebrities that we follow on Instagram that is so cringe, but we keep following them
Mm-hmm.
because it's entertaining. And I think she's like, yeah, I'm going to be cringe, but you'll still watch. And that's what attracts you to me, is that I'm
Yeah,
cringe.
I completely agree with that. I think cringe sells, or cringe gets numbers, something like that, because there's certain people out there that lean into it and keep it going. What's that bachelorette chick that we had covered a couple weeks ago that became like,
Caitlin Bristow.
no, the one that became super
Oh, she's
famous.
cringe to me.
She just married her partner in Vegas. She became a lesbian after the
Oh,
show.
yeah.
What's her name?
I'll think of, but
I think
I'm
she
Googling right now.
also can lean into the cringe when I watch her TikTok.
You think the one
She
who I said was going to have a huge
Yeah,
year?
no, don't get me wrong. She's really funny and she's crazy, but I think some of like her dancing videos on TikTok, they're cringy, and that's what makes her almost more likable, because you're just like, oh, stop dancing, but like I can't stop watching, so this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I can't remember her
I
name.
say, uh, hold on,
It's gonna
bachelor.
bother you
Give me a
until
second.
you find her name,
All right.
isn't it?
It is because she was on my prediction for the year. She was my, remember I said Gabby
Such a big
Windy.
star, you can't remember her name right now. Is that what you're trying to say?
Gabby Windy.
Gabby Windy. There we go.
I said Gabby Windy was going to be a big star this year, and I still stand by that. But to me, she's not as cringe. I think she's becoming very just, people find her funny.
She's
But I'd
funny,
say when it
but
comes to
you're gonna
Bachelorette,
tell me all of her dance
but
moves are a little cringe, which is kind of exciting to watch.
I say Caitlin Bristow was very cringe to me.
Okay.
I follow her, but she's just getting very cringe. It's like,
Yeah, I feel like Brittany's also cringe to watch anytime on social, and I haven't stopped following her.
But I also feel like when it comes to celebrities too, you never want to go to people your own age or cater to people your own age. Always go younger,
Hmm.
because that's not your audience. Logan Paul, he caters to younger people. Just always go younger. Keep going younger, and the older generation will find it cringe. Yet again, the younger people find it cool and
That
funny.
is true.
That's how the begin. That's, if I could do things over, and if I could do my career over, I would make all of my attention going towards younger people, not towards people my age. Don't even try to make people my age laugh. Try to make people younger than me
Yeah, but then
laugh.
you got to keep
And
up
then
on
I
all these
just
trends that you don't know. Like, it took me so long. Here's how I know I'm old. I thought, oh look, I've got short ankle socks on. And then one day, ankle socks aren't cool anymore, and everyone's wearing like, tall socks. I didn't even realize that I missed the memo. I'm just walking around in my
yeah
ankle socks, and everyone's like, okay, there goes Dad over there, and I can't keep up anymore, Adam. I
yeah.
just am old. Look, I'm old. See, got ankle socks on, like an old ass man
Look at you,
walking around, dating
loser,
myself at
loser.
every time I'm out in public.
See, I chopped off my feet because I don't want to even be like, that's how I want to be ahead of the curve. I want to be ahead of the curve.
No
Um,
feet is what's next on the list.
I'm telling you, it's gonna become cool, Dex. Chop off your feet, dude. Everyone's getting walk on your ankles. It's pretty cool. It's a new trend. Uh, number 4.
Anna de Armas and Tom Cruise. It looks like their relationship is heating up, still going forward. There was some rumors a couple weeks back that they were together, and then he is just so reclusive you don't really ever see him out. But a helicopter landed in the UK. Out popped Anna de Armas and Tom Cruise. Tom was actually flying the helicopter. There's a bunch of videos and photos of this. I love that he just flies around a helicopter. Like, I'm just gonna jump in my helicopter and fly us around. But it was actually her birthday, and it seems like maybe they were in London to celebrate her birthday, and she popped out of the helicopter, and they're all smiley and happy. And this woman is so beautiful, by the way. Holy
She
moly.
is
Ana de
incredible.
Armas
I've never seen her
is
in person.
ridiculous.
Yeah, she is. She is very, very pretty. In fact, not an athlete.
Mhm.
I'm not. Everyone gets mad. You don't tell me their names. I'm like, I'll tell you the names when I can. Sometimes I want to do it. But an athlete hit me up and asked me, I was like, hey, let me know if you ever get any tips on this person. So I could try to cross paths with them or
Oh,
see
you
how
mean
I
like
could kind of.
a sports athlete is telling you, let him know where she's at, kind of thing? Oh, wow. By the
Correct.
way,
Correct.
she's been connected to a lot of big stars: Brad Pitt, Ben Affleck. Um, I mean, I feel like there's
Wait, she was on a she was connected to Brad
yeah,
Pitt.
yeah. There was like
Really?
a short time in there that she was connected to Brad Pitt. Um,
I remember Ben Affleck. She was definitely with Ben Affleck for a little
yeah.
bit,
So,
and that was pretty
but
public.
like that, those are three massive A-list bachelor stars that she has been able to hang out with, or do whatever. It's impressive. The girl is gorgeous, gorgeous,
She's
gorgeous.
so pretty, very pretty. Good move for her.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
maybe.
know. I get a little lost when the Scientology gets involved.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts for.
I
But it's good. Hang in there for a little bit, but don't go too long where it gets too weird and they start to make, you know, put you in that
I wonder if
category.
it is do are we sure that Tom Cruise is still a Scientologist? I feel like he has not been connected to the church in a very long time. He used
How do
to
we know
he
that?
used to make appearances. We remember that we would see him, on stage doing stuff with Scientology. I feel like I haven't heard anything in a very long time. I have no idea if he's still a Scientologist or what.
I wonder if that would ever come out.
That would be
You would think
huge.
he
That
would
would be
put it out there.
massive.
That would be the biggest story of the year if Tom Cruise came out that he's no longer involved with the Scientology Church.
Considering he
That would be
was
the biggest
like
story of the
their
year.
beacon. Him, John
He was
Travolta.
he was their pope.
Yeah,
He was the pope of the Scientology Church.
legit. And if he said,
He put it
"I'm
on the
out,"
map.
I think that would be huge. And I would wonder right away. My first thought would go to, is he going to have a relationship with Suri Cruz now?
Yeah.
So,
I hope. I think that's still a very weird, touchy subject. Dax, what number are we on? We're number 3.
number 3, Kim Kardashian. She is headed to court, but this is all in relationship to that robbery at gunpoint that happened back in 2016, where she was in Paris. The armed men broke into her, I think it was a condo or an apartment, and basically stole $9 million worth of jewelry, bracelets, her ring that Kanye had given her, all this kind of stuff, tied her up, threw her in the bathtub, and then took off with all of this. She's going to be going down. She's going to be heading over to Paris to face these a bunch of these guys in court and give her testimony. But one of the guys, which is kind of interesting, this is what the story is actually about, is that one of the guys actually wrote a book about it. Which I thought was really interesting, considering he hasn't actually gone to court, but he already wrote a book. So I'm like, nah, that seems counterproductive for you. But nevertheless, he did. And the book is really, it was called, let me find the name of it, I Kidnapped Kim Kardashian. He literally wrote a book called I Kidnapped Kim Kardashian. He identified himself as one of the robbers behind it, but he has said that he regrets it, not because he got caught, but because there was a trauma. And so anyway, he testified in court on Tuesday. And obviously, if you write a book about it, there's no getting out of it at this point. He did say that he had needed the money because, I guess, to pay for his children and their life, something like that. So anyway, I think a lot of people are very fascinated with this whole court battle right now to see how this winds up. Do they land in behind bars for an even longer amount of time? What happens after this?
I'm just surprised it took this long for this to get to court.
No, it normally takes forever to get to court. I mean, the French police initially arrested 17 suspects from across France with connection to that armed robbery. Half of the 10 suspects are currently on trial and are considered like alleged accomplices. One of the men is indicted by the prosecutors as the younger brother of the chauffeur that was driving her around in Paris. But it's funny, they've actually dubbed the name of this group the Grandpa Robbers, because all of them are they're kind of old to be out doing heists.
Yeah, I mean that's eventually this is going to become. I guess they already made a movie called Ocean's 11, but somehow this is going to be made into a
Oh,
movie
for
of some
sure.
sort, and I feel like they'll spin it into some Hollywood angle because
I could see Ryan
what a
Murphy
crazy
turning it
story.
into a movie because that would be good, and it stars Kim Kardashian because he likes Kim.
He does like him. Wow. Yeah. What a gnarly. That was a gnarly story
Yep.
when that came out. I remember when we almost thought it was fake. It was like this can't be
I
real.
thought for
And
sure with the amount of smart publicity moves and PR stunts that she's done over the years, I was like, oh, this shit's fake. And it
yeah,
wasn't.
no. Dax number 2.
Blake Lively, another embarrassing defeat going on right now with one of her lawsuits. So there's a federal judge in Texas has now denied her request to dismiss a defamation lawsuit against her. This is the lawsuit that was brought up against her by Jed Wallace. She basically had argued that the judge should recuse himself from the case because he had a perceived bias. But the judge ended up rejecting the request, stating that her claims lack sufficient merit. And this is kind of embarrassing for her because this lawsuit basically stems from her allegations against Baldoni during the production of This Ends With Us. Well, she claimed that obviously there was all the inappropriate behavior on set and sexual misconduct, all that stuff. But she alleged that Baldoni and his associates, including this guy, Jed Wallace, orchestrated the campaign to discredit her by portraying her as a manipulative figure attempting to take control of the film. So she then sued him and filed a defamation lawsuit. And he then filed a defamation lawsuit against her, asserting that her accusations were false and damaging to his reputation. And so she went to the judge and was like, no, you got to dismiss this case. And no way. And the judge that was overseeing the case, she goes, oh, and he's biased. He's pro Baldoni. He needs to take himself off this case. And the judge ruled that there was no substantial evidence to support her claims of bias, so allowing the defamation case to move forward. So to her, that is a massive loss because now I feel like you've pissed off the judge on top of it. Not only is this judge overseeing the case, you've accused him of something. He said, get the hell out of here. Nope, I'm going to move forward with this case. And now you've just pissed me off, which anyone knows that goes into court. You don't want to piss off the judge before it's even started. So obviously this highlights all the complexities of all the cases kind of circling around right now. We obviously talked earlier in the week about Travis Kelce unfollowing Ryan Reynolds, and we think that kind of seems like a little bit of the outfall between Blake and Taylor's relationship. Now, the boyfriends or the significant others seem to be kind of having a little bit of a falling out as well. Kind of interesting how this has all crumbled around her over the last, 6 months.
Yeah, I was just near NBC and Blake Lively was leaving. And a lot of times
Is
when you
this
do
different
NBC
from the
shows,
Time 100 thing?
yeah,
Oh,
this was different. But I was just at NBC and she was on Seth Meyers' show, and there was tons of photographers and there was a lot of fans or people in the area. And dude, I'm it is nice. Don't get me wrong, but Blake is like being very, very nice now, stopping for everyone with photos
okay.
and being
So
so stupid
that
at the photos and stuff.
I
But she
think
has to.
100%. Blake and Ryan's their PR team are working like nonstop right now. You said that she was obviously. You said Seth Meyers. Did you see Ryan Reynolds was at the Green Day star unveiling? Like, why?
No, really?
Why did he come out? Why did he talk? It just feels like everyone on their PR team is calling up people like, what can we have them go out to do? Because the more people see him in public, maybe the more people will forget about all of the other stuff going on because we'll start to distract them by having them go to a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame unveiling. Oh, have her show up to a late night show. Have them go to Time 100. Have them go to Saturday Night Live. Like, just get them out as much as possible and people will forget all the shit that's going on in their life. It's not working. The more they're out, people are getting even more annoyed.
Yeah. It could be. I wonder what the strategy with it is. To be honest with you, I think there needs to be strategy, but you can't hide.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing is like maybe
I'm
that's
telling you,
The
I
strategy is
still
like,
am
don't
sticking
hide, be
by. I
out.
think she should take the role of a villain in a movie. Just lean into it.
It's hard because again, it was a serious.
Yeah, it doesn't
It is a
matter.
serious case. I mean,
We say
it's
that all the time.
serious.
Freaking what's his name? Oh my god, what is Alec Baldwin? Alec Baldwin. He's done some shitty things and goes on SNL and people forget. Calls his daughter a pig on the phone and can then go on Saturday Night Live and everyone forgets and moves on. It's
Yeah.
possible.
Dax, the number one story of the week.
Oh, the number one story, Bill Belichick slamming CBS for that interview that they did where they really kind of made it more about his girlfriend, Jordan Hudson, the young girlfriend that we've all been talking about. They kind of aired the interview and showed the spot where the interviewer is asking him about how they met, and she kind of stops and she's like, no, we are not talking about this. And so they aired it, and it made it look like she was super controlling and that they didn't want to talk about their relationship. Well, Bill is like, no. When we sat down to do this interview, I said I want it to be centered around my career, my book, nothing about my personal life, just about my professional life and this book. And when you guys then decided not to play by the rules and ask about my relationship, she stood up and got in between. She wasn't controlling, that she was doing her job, because I think, doesn't she also represent him as like a publicist or a handler or something?
Of some sort, some sort of publicist figure is. Yeah.
So he
Image consultant. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So he said, unfortunately, this was his quote. Unfortunately, the expectation was not honored during the interview. That being the fact that they should have stuck to just sports, essentially. I was surprised when unrelated topics were introduced, and I repeatedly expressed to the reporter, Tony, that the producers that I prefer to keep the conversation centered on the book. After it occurred several times, Jordan, who and I share both a professional and a personal relationship with, stepped in to reiterate that point to help refocus the discussion. She was not deflecting any specific question or topic, but simply doing her job, and then goes on.
I have to say, not a bad response.
It's not a bad response, and I will say I
response.
have been put in this situation before when I need to go out and interview a celebrity, and your bosses back basically say, no, you need to ask this question. Even if the publicist says don't ask, you need to find a way to get it in there. So I am sure that is what happened at CBS. They were told, hey, ask about sports, but like, if you can, get in a question about the girlfriend. If they don't stop you, we'll air it. I did this once with Jared Leto. I was doing an interview with Jared Leto and his brother Shannon. We were in an elevator, because that was where you would interview, in the elevator. And the publicist had basically said, like, hey, just stick with music. Like, that's what we're going to answer. I had been told, like, you need to ask about him dating Lindsay Lohan, because that was the rumor at the time, that he was dating Lindsay. And when I brought up Lindsay, the atmosphere completely changed in that elevator. And literally, it was me, Shannon, and Jared in the elevator. And so there was nowhere to go. There was like no escaping. Both of their faces went deadpan. They looked pissed. And it was because I didn't listen to the rules. Like, I was in the wrong for asking about something that I was specifically told not to ask, but I was being told by the employer, like, you need to ask about this. We need to get a comment on it. So I can understand how this whole situation played out. After the fact, I will say that Jared bust out laughing because he knew he could see that I was about to shit my pants. But they both bust out laughing, and it ended up being a funny, chill situation. But in that moment, I was like, I shouldn't have asked. Why did I ask? Why did I ask? Why did I ask? But I've seen it happen on a lot of red carpets where the publicist will stop, 2 feet prior to the celeb getting there, and they will give their rules. Do not ask about this, and this. anything else, good to go. Okay. And they move on and tell the next reporter. So this is not a shocking story to me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Now that they responded, I sort of get it. With that said, I'm still shocked that people have such interest in this story, but I just think that's the way Bill Belichick. I think people are nervous, and I know Charles Barkley just really spoke about it. That like we see what's going on, but does Bill see what's going on? Is he at the age because he's 74 and she's 24? But is she taking advantage of him and he doesn't even realize?
You know what's so funny is we started this whole podcast by being like, we don't cover sports people, we only cover entertainment, and their number one story is Bill Belichick, an NFL coach.
Yeah,
and his relationship, but it's because he's got this relationship with a really young girl that is fascinated and crossed over from sports to entertainment, and every outlet is covering. I just think that's kind of funny how we literally just went against what we said we were going to say.
True. True. All right. Well, that is the Hollywood Raw podcast. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If I keep rubbing my eyes, it's my allergies.
Dude, mine are killing me. I have been sneezing all day. My eyes are burning. I am like a mess right now.
Yeah, my eyes are terrible. Check out our private Facebook group, Off the Record. Fun community. You talk to us, we talk to you. Follow me at Adam Glyn. Follow Dax Holt at Dax Holt. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later.
What's up, guys? If you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell so we can just feed you all the goodness daily. Hurry up. Come on, let's go.